They told you to be nice, to behave, to sit down, shut up, and follow the rules. From the moment you could walk, the world's been trying to tame you, strip the fire from your soul, and call it maturity. But deep inside, you know something isn't right. There's a war in your chest. You feel it at 3 a.m. when the silence screams louder than any voice ever has. You weren't born to be soft. You weren't built to be safe. You were born with something raw, something powerful. But they made you believe that your strength is a problem, that your ambition is arrogance, that your hunger is greed. Wake up. The world doesn't need another good man. It needs dangerous with discipline, dangerous with vision, dangerous with purpose. Because when you're dangerous, you're in control. You protect, you provide, you conquer. Being good will get you stepped on, forgotten, ignored. But being dangerous, that changes the game. That commands respect. That builds empires. You don't need permission to rise. You need guts. So stop asking. Stand up. Own your mind. Control your time. Take your shot. Because nobody's coming to save you. And you were never meant to be saved. You were meant to dominate. Being good makes you acceptable. Being dangerous, that one truth separates the people who are merely remembered from the ones who change everything. When you're good, you're safe. You're likable. You're the person everyone tolerates, the one who nods along, the one who never shakes the room when they enter. But here's the harsh reality. Being acceptable means you're replaceable. Being good means you're just another echo in a world full of noise. You're expected to follow, to agree, to stay in line, smile politely, and never cause disruption. You become background scenery in your own life. But being dangerous? That's a different animal. Dangerous people bend the rules, not because they're reckless, but because they understand the game. They study the system, and then they break it with precision. Dangerous people speak with a presence that makes the room pause. Not because they're loud, but because their energy demands it. Dangerous people aren't accepted. They're respected, feared, admired, watched closely. They carry themselves with intent, with power, with unwavering direction. They don't look for approval. They don't need a pat on the back. They know who they are. And in a world full of empty smiles and quiet desperation, being dangerous doesn't mean hurting people or being violent. It means you're capable. You're ready. You're no longer a soft target for life to push around. You are mentally sharp, physically prepared, emotionally untouchable. You train when no one's watching. You build when others are sleeping. You choose to grow when everyone else is comfortable being average. Dangerous people don't hide from struggle. They chase it. Because every challenge is an opportunity to become stronger. Every failure is a lesson sharpened into a weapon. And every setback is fuel. The truth is, you cannot protect what you love, fight for your dreams, or rise to your potential if you're just good. The world is brutal. It doesn't hand out trophies for politeness. Life doesn't reward you for playing it safe. It only gives results to those who earn it. Those who fight tooth and nail, bleed for it, and refuse to settle. You want to be unforgettable? Then you better be willing to make people uncomfortable. Better be ready to be misunderstood, judged, even hated. Because those who change the world rarely get applause at first. They get resistance. They get mocked. Until one day, the same people who laughed are the ones watching silently, in awe, because you had the courage to become something they never dared to be. You need to kill the version of you that wants to be liked by everyone. That version is weak. That version is scared. That version dies unnoticed. You want power? Learn to say no. Learn to walk away. Learn to stand your ground when your voice shakes. Learn to sharpen your instincts, build your body, discipline your mind. Do not apologize for being intense. Do not shrink to fit into other people's comfort zones. You were never meant to blend in. And being dangerous is about knowing you have the fire inside you and choosing to let it roar. The world has enough nice people, enough followers, enough cowards in suits with empty eyes and crushed dreams. What it needs are warriors, leaders, visionaries with grit and teeth, men and women who don't beg for a seat at the table. They build their own empire. You can be kind, but be dangerous. You can love, but love with boundaries. You can serve, but serve with strength. Because if you are not dangerous, you are vulnerable. And if you are vulnerable, you are disposable in the eyes of a root. That's the mindset of someone waiting to be picked. Instead, become so powerful, so undeniable, that you never have to wait for permission again. Build your mind like a fortress. Train your body like a weapon. Master your craft until your results silence every critic. Walk into every room like you belong, not because they said so, but because you earned it. Be the person who refuses to be broken. Be the one who turns pressure into progress, who doesn't flinch when the storm comes, because you are the storm. In the end, good people get remembered for them. They leave marks on this world that time cannot erase. So ask yourself, do you want to be accepted, or do you want to be unforgettable? The choice is yours, and the world isn't waiting. Control, discipline, and purpose turn danger into power. Without these three pillars, danger is just chaos. Raw energy with no direction burns out fast. A dangerous man without control is a threat to himself. A dangerous man without discipline is a momentary spark that never becomes fire. A dangerous man without purpose is a weapon with no target. But when you take that danger, the intensity, the potential, the hunger, and mold it through control, discipline, and purpose, you become unstoppable. You stop being a wild force of emotion and start being a calculated storm. You become power in its purest form, focused, relentless, and precise. Control is the first step. It's what separates the strong from the reckless. Control doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you master your emotions instead of being ruled by them. You feel anger, but you don't let it consume you. You feel fear, but you move forward anyway. You feel doubt, but you don't know. It's the strength to choose your response instead of being driven by impulse. Controlled danger is terrifying to the world because it's unpredictable, focused, and deliberate. The man who can break everything but chooses not to, that man owns every room he walks into. Because people sense that power restrained, sharpened, and waiting. Then comes discipline. Discipline is where most people fall. They want the results, but not the process. They want power, but not the patience. They want the reward, but they refuse the repetition. But discipline is where real danger becomes transformation. It's doing the work when nobody's clapping. It's making choices that your future self will thank you for, even when they're hard in the moment. Discipline is what builds mental toughness, physical strength, and emotional resilience. Without discipline, your ambition is just fantasy. You can talk all day about what you're going to do, but if you don't back it with consistent action, you're just noise. Discipline makes you dangerous over time. It turns you into a weapon so sharp that even failure becomes part of your edge. You no longer fear the grind, you embrace it. You become the type of person who doesn't need motivation. But the most powerful piece, the one that gives all this meaning, is purpose. Purpose is the fire inside you that doesn't burn out. It's the why behind every sacrifice, every setback, every early morning, every late night. Without purpose, control and discipline feel empty. You'll give up the moment it gets hard. But when your purpose is clear, quitting becomes impossible. You're not just working out, you're preparing for war. You're not just building wealth, you're creating legacy. You're not just waking up early, you're building something only you can see. Purpose makes pain worth it. It makes risk necessary. A man with purpose can suffer more than anyone and still smile. Because he knows where he's going. He's not guessing. He's not wandering. He's moving with force. When control, discipline, and purpose come together, you don't just become dangerous, you become elite. You stop competing with others because there is no competition. There's only your mission. And while others are busy trying to prove themselves to the world, you're too focused building something permanent. People notice. They can't help it. There's a gravity around you. Not because you're loud, not because you boast, but because your energy is real. It's built from struggle, from silence, from hours no one saw. That's what real power looks like. Quiet, consistent, relentless. Most men will never understand this. They'll chase shortcuts. They'll chase comfort. They'll chase approval. They'll be dangerous for a moment, then disappear. But you can be different. You can choose to harness your fire instead of letting it burn you. You can build control like a shield, wield discipline like a sword, and anchor it all with purpose like a compass. And when you do that, you don't just walk through life, you carve your name into it. So ask yourself, are you letting your potential rot under excuses? Are you hoping for strength, or are you building it daily? Are you wandering, or are you chasing something with fire in your eyes? Control, discipline, purpose. These aren't just words, they're the path. Take them seriously, and no one will ever be able to deny who you are again. You won't need to be loud. Your results will speak for you. Your presence will shake the room before you even say a word. You'll no longer be just dangerous. You'll be powerful. Stop waiting for the world to choose you. Start becoming someone it can't ignore. That one decision changes everything. Most people live their entire lives hoping to be noticed, hoping to be picked, hoping someone sees their value and hands them an opportunity. But the truth is, the world doesn't care about your potential. It doesn't care how good your heart is or how long you've been waiting. The world responds to force, to presence, to results. If you keep sitting quietly in the corner, waiting for your moment, you'll grow old watching people less talented, less capable, and less deserving take everything you ever wanted because they moved and you didn't. You weren't put here to be passive. You weren't built to wait your turn like a well-behaved servant in line for scraps. You were born with fire, born with a gift, and it's your responsibility, not the world's, to unleash it. Stop looking for validation. Stop expecting someone to knock on your door and hand you a dream. That's not how it works. You must become undeniable. So powerful in what you do, in who you are, that the world has no choice but to pay attention. You become the storm. You become the shift. Not because someone gave you permission, but because you earned it. People waste years hoping to be discovered. They post, they perform, they talk, waiting for someone to come along and change their life. But no, your parents can't save you. Your friends can't do it for you. That job you think will fix everything, it won't. And the longer you wait for a lucky break, the more time you waste not creating one. The truth is, you don't need to be discovered. You need to build. Build the skills, build the body, build the mindset, build the brand, build the value. And when you've built enough, the world will have to notice. Because the world doesn't choose you, you build yourself into someone it can't ignore. The people who rise, the people who dominate, they don't wait to be picked. They pick themselves. They take their future into their own hands and create pressure until something breaks. They don't hope for an opportunity. They become it. That's what separates winners from the forgotten. It's not talent. It's not background. It's that relentless decision to stop playing small. Stop waiting, stop hoping, and start building every single day. Look around. Every powerful person you admire wasn't chosen. They made themselves. They got up earlier. They worked while others rested. They said yes to the pain, yes to the grind, yes to the lonely nights of obsession. While others were waiting, they were becoming smarter. They didn't ask for attention. They commanded it through action. They didn't cry about being overlooked. They leveled up so hard that being overlooked became impossible. You can do the same. But it starts by killing the part of you that needs applause, that needs comfort, that needs permission. You don't need approval to be great. You don't need recognition to be valuable. What you need is action, relentless, disciplined, focused action. Because every time you show up for yourself, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one believes in you, you are creating gravity, and gravity pulls things in. Success isn't a tap on the shoulder. It's a war you start with yourself. A war against laziness, procrastination, fear, and excuses. It's waking up every day and refusing to stay the same. Refusing to let your story end where it began. You weren't born to live average. You weren't built to blend in. There's something in you that's bigger than your doubts, something that's stronger than the fear. But it will never activate while you sit still and hope. It activates when you move, when you risk, when you get uncomfortable, when you stop begging for a seat and start building your own damn table. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be remembered. And to do that, you have to be willing to do what 99% of people won't. Believe in yourself before anyone else does. Build when no one's watching. Push when it's not trending. Stay hungry even when there's no reward yet. If you do that consistently, brutally, and without apology, you won't need to wait for your shot. You'll become the shot. So stop waiting to be chosen. Choose yourself. Choose to work harder. Choose to build value. Choose to stand out. Choose to be bold. Because in this life, it's not the most talented who win. It's the most relentless, the most committed, the ones who refuse to stay invisible. And when you become that kind of person, the world won't have a choice but to see you. And once they see you, they'll never forget you. So now the choice is in your hands. You can keep waiting, hoping, wishing, begging for someone to give you a shot, or you can rise.